Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure DX-ish. In the last part, we finished off Knuckles' campaign and now it's time for the latter three campaigns to start off with good old Amy Rose.
It's my turn now! Bored. Every day's the same old thing. Same place, different day. I miss the good old days. Hanging out with my hero, Sonic. Chasing bad guys. And blowing them away.
Getting kidnapped along the way.
But now he's gone. And there's nothing left to do. But shop till I drop. There was always something fun to do with Sonic around. I really miss him. Hey, what's going on here? Is there an eclipse today or what? Nobody forecast a storm or anything. Eggman, can it be? What's that? Ah! Watch it! Watch it! Ow! You should watch where you're going, buddy! Hey, are you all right? You look kind of hurt. What's this? Uh-oh! Yikes! You almost ran me over, creep! Oh no! Let's get out of here! That was one of Eggman's robots, huh? He must have captured you, and somehow you got away, right? Don't worry, I'll protect you. I'll do my best to keep us both from harm. I'll stand by you all the way.
You know, part of me has always been surprised that strategy works against that robot. But given that most of Eggman's Badnik robots are just a single behavior attack pattern with an animal inside, I guess this kind of tracks. Either way, making what from memory is her playable debut in the series here in Sonic Adventure is Amy Rose, albeit we saw her a couple times before this in things like Sonic CD as well as some minor extraneous things. And even then, here on the channel, she's been playable in a couple games already because I've already LP'd Sonic Advance 1 and 2. Amy can attack with her Pico Hammer by pressing the spin dash button as Sonic. But the big thing is if you actually get a good amount of speed going with running and then hit that button, you'll actually do a gigantic hammer high jump that is extraordinarily good for getting around any platforming sections. It's not that good for combat utility, but frankly, due to what the main focus of her few levels are, combat's more or less the furthest thing from your concern, so don't worry too much about the limited range or all that jazz with the hammer. For right now, our goal is to find Sonic. If you remember where we met Amy as Sonic, we need to head over to the casino right about now and see if we can find him.
Oh, Sonic! My hero! Sonic! Long time no see!
Amy!
What's your problem? See, this little little birdie's got in trouble. I think you should be his bodyguard a little while.
What?
Doesn't matter. We'll just tag along.
No way!
Come on, don't run away! Oh!
I like Amy a good bit. I love this design of hers a lot. I like it a lot more than her original design where she looked just like a pink Sonic, although I think that design is still cute. But man, I don't like her earliest characterizations a lot. I feel like out of like the early versions of her, the one I like the most is how she was in Sonic X, which is largely this, but there's enough individual episodes dedicated to her that add a little more flavor here and there that I find her a little more interesting. Frontiers and Boom are probably her best performances in that regard overall. At the moment, at least. For all we know, she might get another really good one relatively soon. We'll see, I suppose.
Wait up, Sonic! Not fair! I can't run as fast as you! Ah, look! Eggman's robot's on the loose!
Don't panic! I'll handle that bag of bolts!
Ah!
Now what's wrong? Huh?
Look! It says cute couples can get in free! What are we waiting for?
Amy! Wait! I give up. She's so weird.
Time for Amy's first stage, Twinkle Park. Her main mechanic focuses on that green robot that we've seen in the cutscenes already, Zero. Zero is chasing you down and is invincible. If you've ever played certain Resident Evils, he's very comparable to Mr. X or Nemesis. He's constantly chasing you down trying to get that bird. And if you get grabbed, I believe that's just outright a death. Thankfully, Amy herself is still pretty speedy on her feet, and her hammer jump means getting away from him isn't exactly hard. This does lead to some interesting enough ideas in the levels. My issue with this campaign largely comes down to I think it's a little too short for any of the ideas to really stick in flat, and while there's a couple of neat ideas here and there that she gets that a lot of other characters don't, in terms of the actual stage designs, I think she just needs more. For instance, here in this level, we got the mirror hallways like a theme park would largely have. What they're going to do here is that there's going to be times where there's a pit that you can see in the reflections, but not in the main level design. So you got to keep your eyes off of main Amy to look at reflection Amy to see where you're really supposed to be. And I like that a lot. They could have actually made an entire level focus more around this and do more interesting things with it, and it would have been really neat. Unfortunately, largely we're still just going through Twinkle Park. Also, there's moments like that where they do some funny stuff with the camera where you actually can't tell which Amy's the real one. Woo! At this point, though, whenever there's moments like this where I have downtime in this campaign in specific, I'm going to talk about the Japanese voice cast and what they've largely done otherwise. As I already went over the American voice cast, so I might as well go over the other one. To start with, for instance, Sonic is voiced by Junichi Kanemaru, who has been some characters in some of the earlier Atelier titles like Douglas. He was DJ Jack / Sailor DJ in Sailor Stars. But after he got the role as Sonic, he has been Swiper the Fox and Dora. He was Ryo in Digimon Tamers, and then he's been Sonic ever since. He has been Sonic in every voiced role, in the games at least by and large, ever since. At the top of this ramp is the end of this level, and Amy ends her levels with a giant yellow balloon with a red star with a ring on it. Jump into the ring, and you are clear of Zero, and you have escaped the level to flee another day. Amy's levels, by and large, are all going to follow this type of structure. You can notably knock Zero away from you, but you can never permanently kill him in the levels. It's just a matter of stunning him with your hammer to get him away from you in the case he's getting a little too close for comfort or running to begin with anyway. So now we're done with Twinkle Park, so let's get on out and see where we're supposed to go next.
have gotten lost too.
Well, that didn't last long.
Ah! Hey, watch it, Bull Frank! Let us down! Let us go! Help! Sonic! Now, calm down. What do you want?
Hand me the bird.
Nope.
Quietly hand over the bird.
No, never.
Why not?
I don't need to tell you anything. You tell me why you want it now.
Does not compute.
You don't even know? I know you might hurt us both. Please, Mr. Robot. Won't you help us, please?
Insufficient data. You have feelings for something you know nothing about. Illogical.
I pity you. Love is not part of your programming. You are missing something good. Hey, Birdie, come back here!
Go. Escape.
Well, what? You sure?
It's dangerous here. Hurry, we'll be at the Mystic Ruins base soon.
You're really nice. You're different from the other robots. You've got a soft spot inside your metal frame. If you want, we can be friends, okay?
Well, that certainly explains why Amy goes out of her way to protect Gamma from Sonic and/or Tails destroying him after the battle against him in their respective campaigns, doesn't it?
It is dangerous here.
No, you don't say. At Eggman's base, I think it's pretty cozy.
You're not going to escape from here. Let's see if you can clear this awesome game.
Keep trying until you get the high score. Good luck.
Time for a game of Hedgehog Hammer. Get in the center and you play whack-a-mole. There are 3 things you can hit: Sonic, Supersonic, and Dr. Eggman himself. Hitting normal Sonic will give you 100 points. Supersonic is 500, and if you hit Eggman, you lose 200. In order to actually progress in plot, you need to get a minimum score of 2,000, which honestly isn't that bad. Just try not to score too high over that, because We can play this again later on for an optional upgrade, and I think if you score too high, it gets really rough to actually beat the high score to get it at that point. So I always just tend to err on being towards like 2400, 2200.
I can't believe this is happening!
Hey, come on!
Behold the warrior feather! Now you can do the spin hammer attack. Press and hold the action button and move the directional pad in a circle.
So now we can use the hammer as a spinning attack. You basically never need to use it. It's kind of a cute attack, but because its range is so small, you don't really ever need to use it. You need to actually beat that minigame though in order to progress though, so keep that in mind. Either way, as the Red Fairy just said, our next destination is the Hot Shelter. Notably, this is the only action stage in the game Sonic himself never actually enters. It's entirely exclusive to the latter half of the playable cast, so there's still some new things to find along the way outside of boss fights and cutscenes on the other characters, and I've always found that really neat. Big new additions in this level, we got switches you can interact with and then rotate the analog stick to make doors raise or lower in the case you need to, albeit they're kind of few and far between. But once Zero enters the fray, it's going to be a lot of the same, just with egg carrier aesthetics. There is a new mechanic to this stage, but I'll talk more about that when we actually reach it. For right now, let's go back to talking about the game's Japanese voice cast. Tails in the Japanese cast is voiced by Kazuki Hayashi. This is the only role I can find with any kind of research that he's ever done in acting, voice acting, or anything, seemingly. Meanwhile, Knuckles is Nobutoshi Kana, who was Basara Neki in a lot of the early Macross 7 stuff. He's been Knuckles ever since, effectively. But he's also the Japanese voice for Guts from Berserk, Spider from Mega Man X Command Mission, and Kabuto from Naruto, wildly enough. Other notable roles are, I think he's the main Lancer from Fate Stay Night. It has been that specific character every time they've shown up since, as well as Takaya from Persona 3. Amy, on the other hand, is voiced by Taiko Kawata. She has been voicing Amy since Sonic Adventure. She is still her to this day. Other roles for her, she is Lil in the Rugrats movies in the Japanese dub, and probably even the main dub of the show, period, in Japanese. She's apparently a voice for Maggie Simpson at some point across The Simpsons, but she's also Suzu in Tales of Fantasia, as well as any further reappearances of that character. Big the Cat, on the other hand, is voiced by Shun Yashiro in the Japanese voice track. Prior to his death in 2003, he was the Japanese voice for Ka from The Jungle Book, Pigpen from a lot of the animated specials and otherwise cartoons for Charlie Brown, and was the Japanese voice for Winnie the Pooh as late as 2003, so he's the voice of Japanese Winnie the Pooh in Kingdom Hearts 1, even. Next up is Gamma's Japanese VA, who's probably got one of the more varied resumes in terms of characters he's played. He was the earliest voice for Kazuya from Tekken, he's Baofu in Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, he's Sojiro in Persona 5, he's Varus in Ep.14, he's Wesker as of Resident Evil Remake and has been him since. He's the voice of Jororo from Sergeant Prague, Van from Tales of the Abyss, Luzord from Kingdom Hearts, Alucard from Hellsing, Kyrie from Fate Stay Night, Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear, Gileath Osborne in the Trails series, and looping back around the Sonic, he came back to eventually voice Zavok in Sonic Lost World, as well as any future reappearances of that character. Wild resume there. Similarly wild is actually Eggman's Japanese VA at this point in the series, Shikao Otsuka. Prior to his death in 2015, he was the voice of Eggman ever since he had a voice, before being succeeded by Kotaro Nakamura. He is the voice of Master Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts, Sid in FF12, Dr. Vile in Mega Man 04, Joseph Joestar in the 90s OVA, early Wario period, Mercenary Tal from Dragon Ball, one of the early voices for both Zenigata and Ishikawa Goemon from Lupin III, and he's also Dick Dastardly in Wacky Races. And finally, the Red Fairy we've been using as a tutorial thing here and again, and has also been leading us to those strange sequences, is voiced by Kaori Aso, who is the Japanese VA for Disney's Aladdin's Jasmine in basically every appearance she's had, be it movies or TV show, as well as Roxanne in a Goofy movie. I've also heard rumors, and I'm gonna need to look into this if this is true or not, that supposedly one of the voices over an intercom in the game in the Japanese release is Yuji Naka himself. which I could see him doing that, but I'm gonna do more research into that before I say that's true for a fact. Hope that research is going well, future me. For now, here's the very light puzzle-solving element that Amy's campaign has. In a couple places, we're going to have points where we need to grab these color-coded blocks and put them on their respective panel to access the next area. Also, just because I'm noticing now, apologies for potential bitrate issues right here. Those screens in the distance are staticky as hell, and that's probably impacting the video in some form, I imagine. Especially after YouTube compression. Ugh. Thankfully, all 4 blocks we need are all in this one room, and they're pretty close together, so it doesn't take that long. If anything, this is technically a tutorial for this and the few other appearances it has in this campaign. Oh, hi, Zero. Oh, hi, Zero! Run! Weird little thing that's a bit of a quirk with the game to begin with. Amy's not too fast, unless she's going up slopes, in which case I think she's technically faster than Sonic. There's some times where the character speed gets a little weird like that. But there's also just unique values for some character speeds in different scenarios, even. Like, for instance, Sonic goes up ladders, I think, slower than some other characters, but faster than some others, whereas I think Big the Cat goes up ladders the fastest, which I've always found that kind of funny. Looking at the top left, though, Amy's campaign can definitely be a little weird in that while it's not exactly that long, her stages do actually have a good amount of length to them due to how slow she is to begin with, but also them wanting to make sure the chase mechanic that Zero is inherently feels like an actual threat, I guess. Technically, I guess she has the longest stages out of the latter 3 playable characters. Although even then, some of the former 3 playable characters like Sonic or especially Tails have shorter levels on average. By and large, the game is pretty good about keeping your interest level fairly high in its shorter or longer stages no matter what. Amy's campaign is one of the few times where you really do feel the length of some stages, though. I will say that outright. And what's funny is, it's not like they're inherently dangerous despite that length. Hot Shelter here is more dangerous than Twinkle Park, yes, because Zero's around a little more often and there's a few tighter spaces to get around him in. But ultimately, still pretty chill, honestly. You could probably unlock this campaign as Sonic and then go right into it, and it would probably not even be that big a jump or downgrade in difficulty from where you unlock her.
Huh? What's this place?
Amy's face right there is one of my favorites in the game. It's such a funny expression. This game's facial animation leaves a lot to be desired by modern standards, of course, but for the time, it's pretty good. I think there were games before this that definitely still had stronger facial animations. Crash 2 and 3 come to mind, because I think Crash 3 was a few months before this. But given the scale of what they're doing with here and how many characters they're animating on top of that, it's pretty neat. It's pretty good for the time. This is actually one of the few cases, though, where you actually need to go somewhere else in these sequences. Largely, they'll spawn you in the area you need to go find the cutscene. In this case, we actually need to go find the other Master Emerald Shrine through the door that I showcased we could do, I believe, towards the end of Knuckles' campaign? Seemingly, though, the echidnas back in the city were a little calmer than they have been in some of the other sequences we've seen, so maybe things will be relatively calm around here this time? Guess we'll find out.
You're the Chow. Don't be afraid. You're safe with me.
Gee, what was that? I wonder if I'm dreaming. Oh my! I need to get out of this place!
Amy, if you're dreaming, there's a whole lot of other issues that needs to be addressed with the rest of the cast, because if everyone's having dreams like that, I think the water in Station Square might need to be checked. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 15, we're going to go finish off Amy's campaign. Like I said, these later 3 are pretty short. See you guys then.